Alright, here is my follow-up review for the Philodo Falcon. I've been itching to ride this bike ever since I got it. I took it on one short ride when I first got it. I say short, it was like a 13-mile ride, but it busted through those 13 miles like it was about 2 or 3 miles. So it's a fast bike and it's a really fun bike to ride. I'm going to take it on a 22-mile down, 22-mile ride back today, hopefully. I'm going down to the Cedar Bog Nature Preserve. I'm at the Simon Kenton Trail entrance here in Bellefontaine, Ohio. So like I said, that's going to be 22 miles down, 22 miles back. This 32 amp hour battery that this bike has, it should have plenty of power to make it down and back, depending on how I ride, that is. If you want to see top speed and hill climbing and off-road tests for this bike, I've got another video where I did my first ride on this bike. But we're not going to be doing any of that today. Today is just a walk around and a range test. And here for the walk around to show you what we get, we got DY Island hydraulic brakes, and they do a fantastic job of stopping the bike. Basic grips, this is the one gripe I have with this bike. If I would change anything, it would be this, but that's a $10 trip to Walmart to fix that. If you are at all familiar with the Philodo Forester, you will recognize this screen. I'm in a spot here where I'm getting some glare, so I hope you can see this. It's a pretty basic screen, but it gets the job done, and it's easy to see, and you can read everything that's going on with it. And we do have a USB Type-C port under here for charging your devices while you're riding. Over here we've got our basic tried and true Shimano 7-speed shifter. We've got a key so that we can turn the bike off, take the key out, nobody can make off with it. At least they won't be able to start it if they do. Over here we've got our headlight control button and our horn button. Up front we got an adjustable suspension with lockout. I really like these headlights that Philodo uses. They've got this lip that wraps around the top of the fork here, and it keeps the headlight straight. So if this does loosen up, there's a limited amount of play that you can get out of the headlight. Let me turn the headlight on here. There's what the headlight looks like when it's turned on, and this is the tail light, and it does function as a brake light as well. We've got 180 millimeter disc brakes front and rear. The motors are, Philodo claims these are 2,000 watt motors. They might be 2,000 watt peak, but if we look at the controller specs plus the voltage of the battery, I don't think we're able to reach that full 2,000 watt output, which is good because you're never going to burn your motors up that way. I don't remember the exact specs on the controller, but I'm going to put that information on the screen right here along with a picture of the controller. Right here is our battery. It's a 60 volt 32 amp hour battery. So to get that out, wrong key. To get that out, you put the key in here, turn it, it's going to pop down a little bit, and then there's a safety release switch here, and it takes 2 hands to do this safely. So I'm going to set the camera down. Oh, she's a heavy one. But yeah, that's how our battery comes out, and it is indeed listed as a 60 volt 32 amp hour battery. We got looks like 7 pins back here. Putting it back in is a little bit of a challenge. It's easier to turn the wheel and load it in. And you just snap it in place like that. Our controller sits in here. I'm going to pop this plate off later when I get home and give you guys a picture of that so you can see what's going on in there. Again, 180 millimeter disc brakes in the rear. We got Chaoyang 26x4 fat tires, metal pedals, Shimano Tourney derailleur guard, 7-speed gears. And I really like these racks that Philodo puts on their bikes. They're heavy duty and just really well built. We got plastic fenders front and rear. I like plastic fenders. They're less noisy than metal fenders. And this is their seat, and it's the same seat that comes on the Falcon, which is a very comfortable seat for long rides. It's cushy, wide, and no need to change this one out unless you want to go super Cadillac. We've got a D&M shock here in the middle. and this does make for a really comfortable ride. You can adjust this with a specialized air pump. I've not put any air in it. I weigh 190 pounds. Maybe I should put a little bit more air in it, but so far the ride has been very comfortable, and I just haven't felt the need to change anything. If I did any kind of like really aggressive riding, maybe off-road, I would do that, but for the trail riding that I do, this has been just fine. All right, let's go put 44 miles on this sexy mama, and I'm not sure what level I'm going to ride the bike in. I've got it in pedal assist level 2 now, but I got to cover 44 miles. This is putting me at 18 miles per hour. I don't think this is going to come anywhere near running the battery out, and I'm pedaling a little bit, but I'm putting a little bit of effort back into the bike, but the bike is doing pretty much all of the work. I might be doing like maybe 5 or 10% of the work here with pedaling. I'm going to go up to pedal assist level 3 because we do have to cover 44 miles, and I don't want to be out too close to evening because it starts to get cold this time of year when the sun starts going down, and unfortunately this is our last day before the time change, so the days are going to get even shorter for me after work. So I'm going to go on up to pedal assist level 3, and now I'm doing essentially nothing. I'm just ghost pedaling, but that puts us at 24 miles per hour. I'm going to play it by ear. The faster you go, the faster it's going to rip through the battery. I mean, this is a 32 amp hour battery, so it should take us pretty far, but 44 miles is a pretty long distance on an e-bike, and the faster you go, the quicker it's going to just cut through that battery. This bike weighs 104 pounds, so I really don't want to run out of battery and pedal it back on my own power. So we're going to kind of play it by ear. I'm going to do updates every 10 miles or so, and we'll see where we're at. Now, the Philodo Forester did 50 miles on its battery, and it's got a 25 or 26 amp hour battery, but that was 50 miles of me running it completely dead from 100% charge, and I rode it at around 18 miles per hour in pedal assist level 2 for that entire test. So I'm hoping these extra 6 amp hours will give me that extra oomph I need to make it that 44 miles at this speed, but 6 more miles per hour on an e-bike will drain the battery considerably. The higher level you go, the faster you go, it really does put a lot of strain on that battery. And it got cold once I started moving. I brought cold weather gear with me, and I might end up changing into that stuff. I didn't want to give up e-bike riding this winter like I did last winter. I mean, I went out on a few rides last winter, but I froze pretty solid once I started riding in snow and wind and stuff like that. So I dumped the money and bought cold weather gear, heated cold weather gear. So I think it's probably about time I slip that stuff on. At least the gloves anyway. I generally didn't do too bad in the cold weather riding, and when I say cold weather, I'm talking like, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything under that, I was really like done. But it was, once my fingers and toes get cold to the point that I can't feel them and I don't have that dexterity, that's at the point where I'm like done. So I think the cold weather gear was a pretty good investment, considering that I really like to be outside and I really don't like to be cooped up all winter, but generally haven't had a choice in it because I don't like cold weather. Yeah, I'm breaking down and putting on these heated gloves, mainly because they have this length here that will go up past my jacket here and help keep the wind out, but I don't like wearing these things unless I have to because they're kind of big. It's like wearing boxing gloves. When I wear these with my motorcycle, it makes shifting kind of hard because I don't have that dexterity in my fingers that I would like. But I shouldn't need to worry about that with the e-bike. And you know what, while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and put my ninja hat on too. It is a bit silly looking. Like I said, it's got like a mask and a hood all made into one, but it's going to help cut down. Yeah, that is much better. And I don't even have the jacket on yet. I don't even have the gloves turned on. As you can see, they're like boxing gloves. I'd rather not wear anything this thick while I'm riding, but they do a good job of keeping my hands warm. Like I said, I hate wearing these things when I ride my motorcycle because they take away that finger dexterity because they are so thick. But for riding an e-bike where you don't have to worry about a clutch, they're just fine. I'll take a little bit to do a mini review on these things. So it's got a battery that sits in here, and you can recharge the battery with USB cable, and it sits in this little pocket, and you put the battery in the pocket, zip it shut, and then if you do a long press on this button here, it turns red. I don't know if you can see that, it's very faint in the color, but it instantly starts heating up the top of your fingers. So like on a motorcycle where you got the wind coming at your hands, that's where you want the heat the most, and it gets hot pretty fast. And it's got 3 levels. Blue is the second level, and green is the third level. Green is the weakest heat, blue is middle, and red is the hottest heat. So when you turn it on, it instantly goes into the hottest heat. Generally I wear it on like green, but today I don't even need the thing turned on. I just need something to block the wind as I'm riding. But yeah, pretty cool set of gloves. And later on when it starts getting cold, I imagine I'm going to need that heat function. But yeah, I got the gloves, I got a heated jacket, I got heated insoles and heated pants. As far as it goes, the gloves make the most difference, hands down. The jacket is also really good. It's going to add some of that warmth. The pants and the insoles are kind of, it's good to have them if it gets really bad, but for the most part, I don't see me using them very often. They are just kind of unwieldy. The pants are kind of really uncomfortable, and they kind of like grab and stick to your legs. And the insoles have battery packs with really long wires, and just getting them in your shoes and running them up your leg or finding a place to put the battery is kind of a pain in the butt. So I don't really see me wearing the insoles and the pants unless I really have to. But like I said, it's good to have them in a dire emergency. But I ride e-bikes for pleasure. It's not like I really have to ride them if it gets super cold. So I'll probably just stick to the gloves and the jacket for the most part. But the gloves and the jacket do a great job of like knocking the cold off and keeping you warm. Gloves especially. Gloves make all the difference in the world. Like I'm just wearing a little windbreaker with a thermal shirt underneath it today, and it's doing a pretty good job of keeping me warm. Now I imagine later on, once it starts getting really cold, I might have to bust out the jacket and put it on. But yeah, right now the gloves are making all the difference in the world. But anyway, back to the test at hand, the Philodo Falcon. I'm at 4 miles, and I will do another check-in when we get to the 10-mile mark. All right, we are at our 10-mile mark, and this odometer is pretty accurate because I ride this trail a lot, and I know for a fact that this is the 10-mile mark. So maybe when we get up at the higher range, it'll kind of pull away a little bit, but so far so good. Also, the sun keeps moving behind the clouds, and the farmers, as you can see, have knocked down all the corn for harvest season, and that natural wind barrier is gone, so the wind just keeps ripping across this trail, and without the sun, it's time to put the heated jacket on. So after I do that, we will continue. Anyway, for our range update, we are at, like I said, 10 miles, 62 volts, and we're at 3 bars out of 5. So I dropped down into pedal assist level 2. I'm going to continue the rest of the ride at 18 miles per hour. I think going at 26 miles per hour is just ripping through the battery too fast for a planned range of 44 miles. Yeah, that's doing a much better job of knocking the chill off. I think the jacket and the gloves were a pretty good investment. So the more I ride this bike, there is one thing that I've noticed that I would like to change about it, and that is the pullback on the handlebars. The height on the handlebars is fine. I've got plenty of rise. It's a big, tall bike, so you know we've got some good. It's got a good position as far as the height of the handlebars go, but they're pushed out that way, and it really makes for a long stretch on the arms, and I'm kind of hunched over a bit. So I think just a really cheap $10 shorty stem on here is going to take care of that problem. It'll pull the handlebars back like 2.5 inches, and that'll put them right where I would need them to be. All right, we're about to tick over 20 miles for the trip. We're at 59.7 volts, 3 bars on the battery meter, and holding strong. We're not far from our turnaround point down here, and then we got to go back 22 miles. But the ride back is a slight incline going uphill the entire way. It's almost unnoticeable, but it is an uphill climb, and it will actually pull a lot more power from the battery on the trip back. I blew through a lot of the power in the first leg of the ride, riding the bike at 26 miles per hour in pedal assist level 3. For a trip this long, I should have kept it in pedal assist level 2, because I did get a little bit nervous when I saw how fast the battery level was dropping at riding it that fast, and I just should have known better. But there we are, 20 miles, 59.57 up to 60 volts at times. So that's where we're at for battery life, 3 bars on the meter. Okay, so we have arrived down here at Cedar Bog Nature Preserve, and we're at 21 miles on the built-in speedometer. Google Maps said that Cedar Bog Nature Preserve is exactly 22 miles. So I would say that if we went into the parking lot, which we can't do because it's closed, we would probably tick over 22 miles. The built-in speedometer, the built-in odometer on the bike here seems to be pretty accurate, and we are teetering between like 59.8 and 60.2 volts as we're sitting here, and we're at 3 bars on the energy meter. I'm going to roll back here and go back down the trail and see exactly when we tick over 22 miles on the odometer. There it is, 22 miles. So I would say this built-in odometer is fairly accurate with Google Maps GPS system. So nothing to do now but to head back to the beginning of the ride and get our total voltage for when we get back there and see where we're at. Again, we're at 22 miles here. We should be at about 44 miles when we get back. We got 3 bars left on the battery meter, and as I mentioned before, this does have a very minor upwards incline as we ride back. It's almost imperceivable to a human rider, but the battery will notice. It's going to start dropping a lot faster as we ride back. At this point, I have nothing really to say. It's just a very pretty part of the ride, so I thought I would share. All right, we're about to tick over 30 miles here. We're at 57.1 volts and 2 bars on the battery meter and about 14 miles to go. You know, I don't know if I mentioned anywhere throughout this entire ride my actual weight that I'm carrying with this bike. So I weigh 190 pounds and I'm carrying probably about 10 pounds worth of gear. So we're at around 200 pounds weight that the bike is carrying, and the bike itself weighs like 104 pounds. And there it is, 30 miles, 2 bars left, 57 volts, 14 miles to go. All right, I apologize for sounding a little muffled here. I had to put my face mask on because the mosquitoes are starting to come out, and about every 2 seconds I'm getting a face full of mosquitoes, so I geared up for that. But we have about 5 miles left to go, and we are in the red. We're at 38 miles now. We just ticked over 39, and we're at 54.5 volts on the battery meter. So it'll be interesting to see if we make it back or not. I did rip it pretty hard in the beginning of the ride, and now I'm keeping it down in pedal assist level 2, holding just over 18 miles per hour. So I'll give you a final update when we get back. All right, my final thoughts on the Philodo Falcon. I straight up love this bike, especially at the price point. This thing is coming in, if I remember correctly, at right around $1,600. And my contact at Philodo said that they're going to be offering a Black Friday sale on this bike, so you can get it for even cheaper. I don't know the exact details of what that Black Friday sale is going to be, but as soon as I know anything about it, I'm going to put a link in the description, and I'm going to pin something in the first comment for this video as well. As well as any kind of discount codes or offers that I can offer. As always, they'll be down there too. Anyway, this bike is a lot of fun to ride, and I love how much power it's got. I love how much range you can get out of it if you choose to not use all of that power. The problem is that this bike is built to be ridden fast. It just wants to go, go, go. So you've got to really exercise a lot of willpower to keep it in the lower pedal assist levels so you don't burn through that massive 32 amp hour battery. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, but stick around until the end of the video if you want to see the results for the final range test. We got a little less than 2 miles left to go to get back to the beginning. I am going to go up a little bit. We're in the red, but I think I got enough power to speed through a little bit here. So I've gone up into pedal assist level 4, and I guess this is a good spot to check for voltage sag as well. So yeah, and it does look like we are suffering from a little bit of voltage sag, whereas before I was able to attain 26 miles per hour in level 3 at the beginning of the ride. Now we're holding like 24 miles per hour in pedal assist level 4. I'll go on up to level 5, and this is where, I mean, we should, with a full charged battery, level 5 takes us up to 30 miles per hour pretty easy, but now it's kind of capping out at about 24 miles per hour. So yeah, that's where we're at for voltage sag, and we've only got like probably less than a mile to go back now to get to the beginning of the ride. So I'm okay with burning through the rest of the battery. Now, I'm only doing this because it's a test. Normally when you get down to like 20%, 15%, that's when you kind of want to like cut it off and go home and charge your battery, because you really don't want to run your lithium ion batteries under 20%, because it's just not really good for them to completely run them out. So anyway, we'll have the full results of the range test when I get back here in just a minute. Yeah, I know we're getting pretty low now, because now I'm only able to maintain about 21, almost 22 miles per hour in level 5. I don't have far to go though. All right, the bike says we are at 43 miles. Google Maps says that was 44 miles, but that's close enough. I think we're just splitting hairs at this point. Anyway, we went that far. I weigh about 200 pounds. I'm carrying 10 pounds of gear. The bike weighs 104 pounds. We're at 53.1 volts on a 60 volt battery, and we are at 1 bar, definitely down in the red. And when it dropped down into the red, it cut power, like it cut a lot of power. Like I said, I was only able to get about 22 miles per hour out of pedal assist level 5 there at the end. But that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.